Right, good afternoon. In the building again. We've got Ameriie in the building. And you know what, London? We was just talking off the record, and she was talking about my moustache.
Oh, I asked you. I forgot what I asked you. But I asked you.
You said
you look different.
I look different, but
did you do something with your mustache? That's what I asked. It looks a little thinner.
It's a bit thinner.
It's nice.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's alright. It's alright.
It's nice.
I'm trying.
It's kind of like it's the thin kind that they give like villains in old school movies, like the bad guy.
That's what's been said. I've been said that.
The villain or the super debonair, slightly villainous, like Count.
I've been told villain.
Okay.
You know, I get told that you look bad.
No, but you don't actually. You have a very friendly face, so you don't look bad.
But I get told that a lot. Oh no, sorry, no. Let me correct it. You look like you're always up to something. That's
really?
why. Yeah.
I don't get that.
I get it all the time.
Very like chilling, kind of just very nice, friendly.
Yeah, Match could second that. I'm a chilled guy, innit, Match? Yeah, he's like, yeah, whatever. But anyway, I'm glad we're doing this again because I was so annoyed the last time when we caught up. It was only your side of the recording that came out, so they was unable to hear what questions I was asking you. And you went into so much history, and I need to get that information again.
I know.
So I'm trying to remember kind of the things we were talking about a couple of months ago.
It was such a good conversation.
It was amazing, yeah, because I remember I asked you a question and you just.
But you know what? Some of it we didn't even. We were talking so much. Some of it we didn't even get on. In the interview, It was like so off the record. It could have been on the record, but we were done and we just kept talking.
Just kept talking. So I want to try and get some of that again because I think there's a lot of information that you gave out last time. If you can remember, anyway, it'll be off the head anyway.
Yeah.
So right, London, we've got Ameriie here. We're talking. It's been a hot minute, and I remember the last time I was saying to you. Now I was one of the DJs in London that was pioneering your music from the whole "Why Don't We Fall in Love" 12-inch. Remember you saying that? And I said the extended mix.
Yeah.
And you was like, wow, red vinyl.
Yes, back in the day.
Back in the day. Yeah, and there was other artists. I don't want to call their name. Doesn't matter that were around at the time. But I was championing Ameriie.
Thank you.
Yeah, championing.
Thank you. See, now you're getting a very villainous look on your face. He's like, I'm serious about this.
I'm serious, and like. A lot of people didn't get it at the time because there might have been other artists around at the time that were surfacing. We had Tweet, we had Destiny's Child. There was a lot of competition around at the time, but I was like, nope, Ameriie.
Thank you.
I was going
Thank you. I
Ameriie.
think that was the red vinyl you said that didn't have a picture on it either.
They have no picture.
Yeah, because I didn't want any pictures. I didn't want any pictures in the beginning because I was like, I just want people to just hear the music, but I don't want any kind of like images attached, and then become something else, and it could be a good thing, but I was like, I don't want anybody going into it thinking anything. Yeah. A lot of times too, people would meet me and they would also say, oh, I thought you'd sound different. I thought it was going to be like this little light voice. That's what they would say, because I guess I don't know, my weight or something. I don't know what it is. So I was like, I would just prefer that. And I do have a light falsetto and all those other things, but I was like, I just would rather them just hear the music. It doesn't matter what I look like. It's just about the music.
Wow. Yeah. So forwarding on, what have you been up to? So like, when was that? 2002?
That was 2002, yeah.
Oh, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
It's been a while.
So what have you been up to? 'Cause I know you've had multiple singles. You've been doing the rounds. You traveled the world. So what you been doing, say, in the last couple of years now, forwarding up to now? Creating
the new music for Billy, which is the album that'll be coming out spring of next year. Right. And then Cymatica, which should be coming out shortly after that. And then writing, too. I was telling you about that before, like writing fiction. I'm into that. But the thing is, like, people were like, oh, well, I thought Cymatica was going to come next. And I was like, well, the thing was, Cymatica was going to come next. But as I was recording, songs like, say, What I Want, they just didn't really belong on Cymatica. And then it was just like, wow, this is, I was recording. So I was like, okay, this song goes here, this song goes there. And so I've been recording both at the same time. And then with What I Want, he wanted to call it Why Don't We Fall in Love. With What I Want, that came, when we were like, okay, that's good. Let's actually go with this. And it's like, well, it's not on the Cymatica album, so that means Billy comes first then. Yeah. Even though hopefully they won't come out too far apart because they'll be both done around the same time.
So how different will it be from work that you've done in the past?
Well,
the new stuff.
Billy, the sound for Billy is like a fusion of soul, hip hop, new wave, and Cymatica is like cinema. It's a very cinematic sound. I was going into it thinking like very heavy, dark, thick sounds, and if I were scoring a movie, this were a score, what would the instrumentation be like? So it's just a very different song. Even
so
the
with,
sound.
with that in mind, cinematic kind of vibe you're working with, is there going to be a lot of visuals with this album? Because like now people are releasing singles with like a package of videos to go with the singles.
I know my husband, Mr. Nicholson, he wanted to do that back in the day. Like actually around One Thing time. He was always very like it's cool if putting a video with every song. And I remember I was like, every song, like even just like songs that are just on the album? He was like, yes, a video for every single record. I was like, oh, okay, but just never did that. So I have some ideas for, say, for instance, like for Cymatica, what I want to do visually for that. And it's not something that I haven't really seen done much, and if I've seen it, not in the way that I want to do it. But I don't want to say anything quite yet because I want to get to that point. But yeah, I do want to do something interesting visually for that. For Cymatica. I think Billy is great too, but Cymatica is I think both albums have a cohesive sound, but Cymatica is even more so. So it lends itself easier to what I want to do visually for that.
Oh, are you still sticking to the producer that used to work with Rich Harrison? Are you still in connection with him, or?
Rich and I haven't worked together in a while.
Right.
I don't know if we'll work. I'm always open to working together because we have such great chemistry. So it just depends. But as of right now, we haven't done anything for either project.
Right. Okay. Right. So.
Why do you want that?
Yeah. New improve, new wave. Now, one of the things that we discussed last time, and I think this kind of like got you. I was speaking to you about, obviously we come from the whole vinyl days and technology has moved.
Yeah.
Is it more difficult for you as an artist right now in RnB with the competition that's out there and the way that technology has changed? How do you adapt to what's happening, and how have you kept yourself relevant, Ameriie?
I don't think it's more difficult.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like it's easier to get your music out there because of the internet.
Right.
I do like the vinyl as far as just because it's a warmer sound, right? It's like analog, so it's still different. But I feel like it's actually easier to kind of like reach your fans. There was a time where you would do a video and it's like, I'm very big on this. Like when I do something, it's the way I want it to be heard. That's it. You're telling me edit for time, edit for radio edit, or the video edit. I'm just like, that's not the way I want it to be heard. Very much like that. That's me.
Yeah.
But I also understand that why those decisions are made. But now, and they say, oh, well, they'll see the video and you edit, but they'll see it online. And I'm like, who watches videos online? Like, basically, you're basically telling me no one will see it then.
Yeah.
And just, pat on the back. But now, actually, that's how everyone watches the videos. I watch videos on my phone. That's usually when I first see a video. If you see it on TV, it's great, but you're not holding your breath to see a video on TV. You probably fall over, right? But, so in that way, it's changed. There are a lot more artists out there, but because it's kind of like been democratized, I guess, with as far as like so many artists being out there, it's almost like overload, right? As far as like the list of people that you can find and explore and discover. So in that respect, it might be a little bit more difficult, but I think that is better now, which is why it's like, I chose to be independent. This is, I think, so far has been the best time to be independent. You're better able to reach your fans, to use the tools at your disposal, the internet, video, releases. You're not really depending on physical distribution as much, so that's good.
And the reason why I said like it might be difficult, because I was thinking like some artists might feel like when when your stuff's too accessible and it gets to people straight away, you feel like that work, what you've been doing over the months, is just been disposed so quickly. So, do you understand what I mean? So where music is so easy for people to get now, it's like, and people have got such a short concentration span these days.
I think that has less to do, but I think that has, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I like that it can be put out to people easily.
Yeah.
Even with One Thing, we just sent it out to all the DJs at once, right? But I think that what happened is that we are living in a time where our attention span is so short because we're clicking on internet, and they say that it actually rewires your brain in a way.
Yeah.
So it's great that it gets out to people, but we're just on to the next thing so fast. I mean, even with fashion, they're trying to keep up with that. News, music. It's just kind of like, before artists would take like maybe 3 years to come out. Now it's like, if an artist hasn't been out in a year, it's like, hey, what happened to that? I wonder what they're doing. Where are they? Exactly. It's like, it's been. And I think Jay-Z was saying one time, he had just released one of his albums, and he said people were like, okay, so when's the next album coming? He was like, I just released it like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, so when's the next one coming? Because I guess people are digesting things so much faster, and they are kind of like, we're so used to being so, I mean, when someone's waiting in line in the grocery store or waiting in any line whatsoever, it's like they're on their phone. Like, I can't have 1 minute of space without actually like surfing. I gotta like surf. I gotta fill up that time, and we have to fill up with the next thing. But the thing is, when people are trying to get things out fast, and that's why I don't try to rush myself. That's not why it takes 3 or 5 years before something comes out. I mean, ideally, I would like a year and a half. But I'm not thinking like, okay, this month I need this. Or I don't really do like Music Mondays, because to me, I'm just like creating something and I would just be throwing it out there and then creating something else. And sometimes I go back to things and tweak things. Like, I'm listening, I'll put it away, and I'll listen again. I'm like, you know what? It'd be better with another harmony right here. Or, let's drop the instrument out of this section. Yeah. But I can't do that if I'm dropping it the day I just did it. Yeah. And whether it's music, whether it's news, when you get something that's been rushed out, it's not going to be right all the time, or the best that it could be. Yeah.
And that's the point I wanted to talk about, because you kind of gone onto it kind of slightly. I was talking about like in 2002, 2004, you had the whole one thing pressure, and then you was like explosive. You was out there as a solo artist. You was out there. Is there a lot of pressure on you now, returning back to the scene, as the fans may put it? Then, right, she's coming back out again. Do you feel there's pressure on you as an artist?
You know what? I don't feel that pressure.
Right.
Because 1, I just create what I want to create.
Right.
2, that kind of pressure I've always felt anyway, as far as like I should reword it. It's not that I felt that kind of pressure all the time. It's that from when I first came out, it was no one knows who I am. And so I've got to kind of like get out there and just be open and just, expose myself basically, and be vulnerable to that. And just say, hey, I made this stuff. Do you like it? After that, there was another album. And it was, sorry, my shoes I have this like leather and like patent leather like rubbing together. And so after that, it was the next album. I think there was a little bit of space. Yeah. Right? And so it was like, come on, one thing, boom. Then the third album, it was a little bit of space. So I kind of always feel like everyone's always like, well, what are you going to do next? And then it was like, oh, well, you always have like this up-tempo. Are you going to follow it up with the up-tempo? So I guess it's either that I'm used to it, but then also I just create what I want to create anyway. But I think it's just always kind of like, because I never just put out a song and then a song like a few months later and another song a few months later. So everything's always been like, it's a comeback. It's a comeback. Every album, they say that.
Now listen, last time, I need to ask you this. Have to ask this question. When you listen to RnB now, Ameriie, as a fan, are you inspired? Right now, are you inspired?
Well, I will be honest. I don't listen to a lot of R&B. When I listen to stuff, it's just, I listen to a lot of music, cinema scores, like movie scores. And I listen to such a vast difference, a different kind of music. It's like such a variety. I'm listening to Lana Del Rey, hip hop influence, so big time, right? But also from that 60s era, which I love. I'm listening to old school Motown and stuff like that. I'm listening to hip hop.
I know you love your hip hop.
I love
You've
my
always
hip-hop,
said that.
But I've always loved my hip hop.
Yeah.
So I actually have to say, be honest, I'm not a big R&B listener. Actually.
Okay, that's interesting. So who would win in a battle then between Drake and Kendrick?
Both of those guys are really good. Kendrick can get really mean on his lyrics sometimes, but Drake is still, because he's able to really he has a lot of finesse with his lyrics are actually really on point too. and also he's able to dip in and out of melody. He's talking 1 minute is that sometimes people can rap and then they can just start singing, but he has so much finesse that you almost, that line between when he stopped rapping and started singing is just so indistinct, you can't even tell when he just started doing a melody. So I don't know.
Is that a tough one?
That's a tough one.
Is that a tough one?
Drake is one of my favorites though. So
Drake's bad.
Yeah.
Kendrick's bad too.
Yeah, and Kendrick is as well.
Kendrick's
Both very
bad.
talented. Well, are they beefing right now?
No.
Okay, I was like,
we just want to see more interest in hip hop.
Oh,
like,
okay,
you know, like
yeah.
sometimes when rappers call out another rapper, they're getting too sensitive. It is what it is. We like the whole competition. Kendrick called out Drake on that little freestyle last year.
It's a very
Drake took it
competitive
personally. It
sport.
wasn't like that. It was all love. But we'd like to see them battling it out, man. Seriously.
You just don't want to see anybody get a shot.
No. None of that. Okay, what else? What else can we talk about before we wrap it up? How are you? So you're married now. You've broken millions and billions of guys' hearts.
Have I?
Come on, London knows that Ameriie is one of my pinups. One of my pinups, man. And when you got married, I just took the picture down. I took it down. I was like, okay, keep it moving. But it's all good. How do you deal with being in a relationship and the music career? Because those are very challenging.
You know, actually, we've been together for so long. We've been together almost my whole music career, almost.
Are you really serious?
Yeah, we've been
Well, I
together
didn't know
since 2003,
Oh,
and then my
wow.
first album came out like in 2002.
Okay.
So it's just normal for me.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what's happening again?
Yeah, I know.
we
right?
gotta
We're always
re-
able to have these like great conversations.
All the time.
Conversations.
It's always a pleasure talking to her, you know.
It's always a pleasure.
Always
talking
a
to
pleasure.
you.
Always a pleasure. We've got to
Always
wrap it
have
up again. I
great
can't believe it.
conversations.
Matchstick, we need like a half an hour exclusive.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Next time, yeah.
No, just need to arrange it. Don't have nobody else on program. Because we haven't even started.
I know we talked about so much too today, but also like
last time as well,
We covered a lot
yeah.
of stuff, and
Cool.
I think actually we touched a lot of that today. Though
We did.
We always have great conversation.
Great conversation. I enjoyed it. Match, I know you're giving me that look. We've got to wrap it up. Listen, talk about your single quickly.
Okay, so what I want is the new single, September 28th. Make sure you guys check it out on iTunes. It'll be available September 28th. And check me out online. I'm mostly on the gram, on Instagram, at It's Ameriie, ITSAMERIIE. And I'm on Twitter, same name, at It's Ameriie.
Thank you very much.